We're here to let everybody know that Jamarcus's family has retained the Cochran firm, as well as attorney Denoris Hurd, to do a full investigation into the tragic death of Jamarcus McFarland. Jamarcus was an 18-year-old young man who had his whole future in front of him. He had a desire and dream to go to college and to play college football. He came to Atlanta to fulfill that dream. And unfortunately, what Jamarcus and his family got was a nightmare. This incident with Jamarcus is tragic for so many reasons. First is the obvious reason. An 18-year-old young man with his whole life ahead of him is gone for no good reason. Second, this is tragic because, as we have learned in just the start of our investigation, this incident involving Jamarcus was predictable. It was predictable because this apartment complex had a long history of issues and problems, including maintenance issues specifically related to the elevators in question. Prior to the death of DeMarcus, this apartment complex, these owners, these managers, were full aware of numerous complaints and problems, including failed inspections and malfunctions of that elevator. It is tragic because it is predictable that with these prior incidents and issues at that apartment with these elevators, the question wasn't, was it going to happen? The unfortunate question is when it was going to happen and who it was going to happen to. And Jamarcus was the victim of something that these owners and managers at that apartment complex knew or should have known were going to be a problem. It's also tragic because it was preventable. Just our initial investigation shows that this young man and these young men who are playing football and attending this prep academy, staying in that apartment, needed to be in a safer place. That apartment building is not safe for those young people to be living in and going to school at. They should have never been there in the first place. It's preventable also because we know that that elevator should have been out of commission pursuant to Georgia law. You cannot operate an elevator without a proper license. That license had not been properly issued because there had not been a state inspection as required by Georgia law. That was an illegal operating elevator. There is no dispute about that. And it's also preventable and tragic because this family gave their young man and entrusted his life, his future, his dreams to a bunch of adults that did not do what they were supposed to do. That did not make sure these young men, including Jamarcus, was in a safe apartment building, had a safe place to live. They did not follow Georgia law and make sure these inspections were done. And instead of celebrating and watching their young son play football and fulfill his dreams, we're sitting here at a press conference talking about his untimely death. And then they have the audacity to blame it on Marcus and these other students, saying there was too many people on the elevator. So let me get the record straight. There was not 16 people on the elevator, as their management claims. And that elevator did not have more than 3,000-pound people, excessive weight. The law is clear. You can have up to 18 people on the elevator, and it wasn't even close to that. This didn't happen because there was too many people on the elevator and the weight of the elevator was too much. This happened because of just straight arrogance, neglect, and intentional disregard for the life of others. This is why we're here today. Because so many people who had the responsibility to make sure Jamarcus was safe didn't hold up to that responsibility. And so we at the Cochran Firm would do everything in our power to investigate what happened, to get to the bottom of it. I'm gonna let Sam talk to you about what we intend to do at the firm. Thank you. Good morning.